Good evening, this is Kev, here to drive you crazy, and welcome back to Boston Sports Talk Part 9. And I got here little Miss Cabby. Hello, Miss Cabby. And right now we're just going to jump straight into it, because as you can see in the title below, I have something I'm going to discuss about a little bit at the end of this, so hopefully we'll get into that. And right now we'll just jump straight into it with the Boston Bruins, who did win their last, they lost their last game to the Rangers 5-4, but had won their previous game against them 4-0. So right now the Bruins are sitting in third place right now at a record of 32-15-7 with 71 points. So the next couple of games is going to be the biggest matchups right now for us, who is going to be the Capitals and the Islanders. We have the Islanders tomorrow, who is actually right behind us, and with them having the potential of saying they win their game and we lose our game, we can go fall back into fourth place. So we really need to make sure that we capitalize on this win. And then the last game of the season before postseason is going to be against the Capitals, who we have a chance to push for that second place. Right now, obviously, the points are going to be what's going to be the difference right now for us. But if Bruins can win these next two, and we'll see if the Capitals end up losing this next game as well, that could definitely be the difference maker, because the Bruins have the two more games. I believe the Capitals only have the last game against us. I could be wrong about that, but I'm just trying to go by what I'm reading right now. But what I do see is, with this opportunity for the Bruins to stay at least in third, to make sure that we at least beat the Islanders, and if we can get that win against the Capitals, it does reinsure that the Bruins are showing why they are going to be in these playoffs, and at least go pretty far into it, I would only assume, because we're going to have a home field advantage no matter what. And by the way that it looks like right now, it could be that by the standings, the Flyers would be our first team that we'll be going up against. So just with that being said, we'll say go Bruins for these next two games. Hopefully that they win it up, get some extra points into it, and we'll see exactly where we're going to be placing come for the postseason. And the very next thing, the Boston Celtics, who unfortunately had a very, very bad loss today. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's so terrible when I say that the final score was 130-124 to the Miami Heat, but the problem with it is for the fact that the Miami Heat had a absolutely dominating first half. You're talking, what was that final? 79 points for the first half. So 79, and then the Celtics only had 53. So obviously, like I just said, when you hear how much of a separation between 79 to 53 and then only losing by 6 points, it shows that the Celtics had a opportunity to really find their way to get back into it, especially having a very big fourth quarter. But you can only put up 40 points and have them score 25 points and still lose by 6. So regardless of the fact, we were falling behind early. And the one big problem I would say about it, which is the fact that it was mentioned even from the previous time, which I found very intriguing to see that he actually did play, was Robert Williams III, who actually was told to be out indefinitely for the rest of the season because of turf toe. But to hear that he got back into the game today kind of surprised me in a way, but at the exact same time, he went out again with another injury. So I do believe he's going to be finally gone, and that really is a hurtful thing for us, because he was a good centerpiece for our team. We haven't really been able to find another good replacement center for him right now. Again, we can always talk about the other people who are actually in it, like Christian Thompson and all that, but they haven't been the production that was necessary for the Celtics to really get by. And of course, losing to the Heat, who is actually the 6th place seed, versus the Celtics, who are now back into the 7th seed, is really making it seem difficult when it comes down to understanding about these play-in playoff games to see if they're going to be able to actually make it into this games. But at the exact same time, it just proves that this Celtics team only has 4 more games in this season as well. 1 more game against the Heat, 2 games against teams that should be considered beatable in the Timberwolves. Who's the other team? And the Cavaliers. And then the one last game against the Knicks. So the Knicks, who are actually the 4th seed team right now, these last 4 games are really going to be the difference maker. We have to win at least 3 of these games, just so that way we could say we have a chance to remain at least in the 6th or possibly 7th place, because of the fact that if we can win against the Heat, win hopefully against the Timberwolves, win against the Cavaliers, and maybe see if the Heat will fall on a few of those games as well. But we really need to make sure that this team can continue on, win out their games, and put themselves at least in a decent run right before the beginning of the postseason as well. So we'll jump straight into the very next one with the Boston Red Sox continuing to show dominance, but at the exact same time, from what I had mentioned in a previous video, are they really the best team in the American League right now? Which is a very big question, because right now we are sitting at the best record at 22-13 after their 4-3 win against the Baltimore Orioles today. They will have 1 more game against them tomorrow, and we'll see how well we can do with that, because right now we did win all 3 games within this series, and we're looking to go for that 4-game sweep against the Orioles tomorrow. That would be probably the best thing that I could see going forward, because the very next teams that we're going to be going up against is going to be the Oakland Athletics. And right now, as of the standings today, Oakland Athletics are actually 21-15. So this is going to be a great matchup on probably what is going to be the best teams in the AL right now, with the Red Sox and Athletics. So looking forward to that series, and can't wait to see how that one goes. But obviously we still got 1 more game against Baltimore. We can't just look past it, and I'll be happy to say whatever the outcome of that one is, that is my team versus my dad's team, basically. So that one I'm going to be extremely happy to watch and see. And I'm going to finish this up real quick by, again, what I had mentioned in the title, which is not too much news about the Patriots, obviously, since after the draft. But the way I'm going to go about it is maybe try to go with who I believe is going to be our starters. So apologies for the camera shaking. I do have it in my little note taker right here, who I do believe is going to be our up-and-coming starters. So we'll start it off real quick with the defensive side of things, and I'm basically going to go down the list of who I believe is going to be the starters, plus the temporary replacements for whoever comes in and out of the games. So right now I'll start off with cornerbacks as Stephon Gilmore and Jalen Mills, with J.C. Jackson as the backup. For the defensive backs, I'm going to go with Devin McCourty, Jonathan Jones, and Justin Bethel. The linebackers crew, I am basically going in and out on this one. Dante Hightower, Juwan Bentley, Kyle Van Noy, who is going to be a returner, and I do believe he will be a starter for us, and Brandon King. Our defensive line, I'm looking at Lawrence Guy, Dietrich Wise, and Chase Winovich, as well as Christian Barmore. I'm going to believe Devon Goxton, if I'm pronouncing that one correctly, the guy that we had picked up from Miami, and Montravis Adams, who we picked up from the Packers. And of course, we'll just finish off on that one by saying the Ronnie Perkins and Hendry Anderson, who was the guy we also picked up from the Jets. So obviously throwing in immediately on this defensive line the 2 pickups that we had received, and at the exact same time I'm going to be looking forward to those guys jumping straight into our offense as starters for us, and I hope to know that they are going to contribute very well for our system. Really quick, I'll wrap this one off with saying that the special teams, obviously, we'll not see exactly who's going to be the majors of the special team, but we know that obviously the captain is always going to be Matthew Slater. Our kicker, we do have 3 kickers right now, but I do believe Nick Folk is going to be our starter. We did actually get a unsigned kicker, and he does look like he has good potential, but until he actually shows that he can do something better than Nick Folk, I believe he'll stay as our starting kicker, as well as the fact that we just have Jake Bailey as our punter, so nothing new to change on that part. Now, going right into the offense now, I do believe that we have our 4 main wide receivers is going to be Jacoby Myers, because of just the relationship that he had in the Patriots system last year. Then we'll go with Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and Gunnar Olszewski. So those guys, I believe, are going to be our starting guys. We did only pick up 1 guy from the draft, but until I believe he gets into the system, those are going to be our 4 main wide receivers. Obviously, our tight ends is going to be Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, and then we have a lot of the other guys who have been in the system, but we're looking for the guys who are going to be the production guys, so that's why I believe they will be immediate starters, even though they are, brand new to the team. And no particular order on knowing exactly who and is going to be in which position, but obviously I'm going to just go with our offensive line is going to be Trent Brown, Isaiah Wynn, Shaq Mason, and Corey Cunningham, and our center being David Andrews. Our starting running backs, I believe, is going to be Damian Harris, followed up with Sony Michel, and then we're also going to use probably the other guy, I always pronounce this guy's name wrong, Ramondre Stevenson, our 4th round pick from Oklahoma. And then I tend to forget that we do still have Brandon Bolden, who is just coming off from, the not the COVID list, but he was a step out from last season. And then our starting fullback is going to be Jacoby Johnson. And obviously, the big question that always comes around, the starting QB is going to be Cam Newton. No matter what it is, we always will find a game plan that is going to be necessary for us to be able to utilize who we have as our starting quarterback. But as a person that was a 1st round draft pick, a person that has been a former MVP, and a person that is going to actually have his 2nd year in the system now, I do believe that he will actually bounce back. He's going to understand the playbook a lot better than just the couple of weeks he had right before jumping into a season with no preseason and going into a brand new system that Josh McDaniels really had to convert for his liking. And obviously we'll have a lot of different plays available if and come when we may have to actually bring in or even start Mac Jones. So until that point, though, I do believe that is going to be our starting New England Patriots. We do have cuts and everything that are still going to have to happen. So until that point, just leave a like if you liked what I had to say in this video. Drop a comment for anything you want to suggest. And of course, hit that subscribe button for any more content. And my name is Cab, and I'm here to drive you crazy. Aloha, God bless, and take care.